Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Stoicwise, the podcast, where we dive into the art of living authentically in a world full of noise. I'm your host, Dax, and today I'm joined by the amazing Yara and the insightful Zachariah. We're here to tackle the ups and downs of adolescence together, navigating everything from peer pressure to academic stress. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's super relevant for all of us: how mindfulness meditation can enhance our understanding and practice of Stoicism. Let's learn how to recognize and control our emotions and make conscious choices in our daily lives. So grab your headphones and let's get started on this journey of self-discovery and growth.
All right, listeners, you asked for it, and we're diving right in. Buckle up because today's deep dive is all about mindfulness meditation and, get this, how it links up with Stoic philosophy. Now, I gotta be honest, when this request first popped up, I was a little confused. Like, meditation and Stoicism, aren't those like totally different vibes? But then I started going through the stuff you sent, and honestly, I'm hooked. So before we go any further, what's your take on this whole connection? Is there really something there?
Oh, there's definitely something there. It's
Yeah.
more than just a connection. It's like mindfulness meditation is this secret weapon right out in the open for anyone who really wants to level up their Stoic practice.
Okay, I like what I'm hearing. A secret weapon. That's promising. But hold on, before we get too far, let's break this down for everyone listening. What do we even mean by mindfulness meditation? It's one of those terms that gets thrown around so much these days.
You're right, it's everywhere. And the source material actually does a great job of breaking it down in simple terms.
So no need to go full on monk mode then.
Haha. Unless that's your thing. No, it's not about emptying your mind or chanting on a mountaintop. It's much more, well, practical than that.
All right, so what is it then? What does mindfulness meditation actually look like in action?
The source material boils it down to building two main skills: awareness and non-judgment. And when I say awareness, I mean really tapping into what's happening in your mind and body, like right here, right now. And then the non-judgment part, that's about observing those thoughts and feelings without, instantly judging them as good or bad, right or wrong.
So it's not about making those thoughts disappear, it's more about changing how we react to them. That's pretty cool, actually.
Exactly. So Source even uses this term cognitive fusion, which I think perfectly describes that feeling of being totally consumed by a thought or emotion like anger, where it stops feeling like just a thought and starts feeling like, well, reality.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know that feeling. And isn't that what the Stoics were talking about all those years ago? I mean, Seneca hit the nail on the head when he said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Cognitive fusion right there, right?
Right. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, those Stoic heavyweights, they all knew that our minds can play tricks on us, leading to a whole lot of unnecessary suffering.
And that's where mindfulness comes in.
Exactly. Our source material highlights how mindfulness meditation can be this structured way to kind of untangle ourselves from those distorted thought patterns.
Okay, now I see how this is all coming together.
Yeah.
Stoicism is all about conquering your inner world so you're not at the mercy of the outer world, right? And what you're saying is mindfulness meditation could be the training ground for that. Where do we even begin?
Think of it like a mental gym, but for Stoic thinking. The source actually gives this great example of using your breath as an anchor while you're meditating. Your mind will wander. That's just what it does. It's natural.
Well, yeah, tell me about it.
Right. But it's all about how you react to that distraction. And that's where the Stoic opportunity comes in. Do you get frustrated and give up? Or do you gently guide your focus right back to your breath?
It's like choosing to grab the steering wheel instead of letting your thoughts take you on a wild ride, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about meditation either. Think about those everyday annoyances. A frustrating coworker, traffic, whatever it is. Mindfulness, combined with that Stoic mindset, helps you see that you always have a choice in how you respond.
And that ties directly into the discipline of desire, doesn't it? The whole Stoic idea of not getting hung up on wishing things were different, but accepting what is and choosing your response.
Absolutely. Recognizing that your power is in your reaction, not in bending the world to your will, which, let's be honest, is a recipe for disappointment.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about feeling zen for a few minutes on a meditation mat. We're talking about building skills that actually work in real life. Now, that's what I call a deep dive worthy takeaway.
Couldn't agree more. It's about making those ancient philosophies relevant today. It's about recognizing that Stoic principles, when combined with a practice like mindfulness, can actually help us navigate all of life's craziness with more resilience and purpose, wouldn't you say? And, it's not just about handling those big external things, right? It's also about what happens inside our own minds, like when we experience things like discomfort or even pain.
You know, you're so right. This quote about pain from the source material really stood out to me. It says, pain is never unbearable or unending, so you can remember these limits and not add to them in your imagination. It's so true. It's often the fear of the pain, that worry that it will never end, that gets us more than the pain itself, you know?
That is cognitive fusion at work, my friend. The source makes a really interesting point, saying that meditation, by forcing you to just sit with discomfort, could even be something as small as like an aching back. It can actually help you build up that mental muscle to be with pain, to observe it, without letting it just hijack the whole experience.
So wait, are you saying that by facing a little bit of discomfort in meditation, we're better able to handle the bigger curveballs that life throws at us? I'm listening, but how does that actually work? Like, how do we train our minds to, I don't know, react differently?
It all comes back to, awareness and non-judgment. So picture this. You're meditating and your back starts to hurt. Now, instead of getting frustrated or trying to pretend it's not there, you acknowledge it. You notice it where you feel it in your body and you observe it. But here's the thing. You observe it without slapping a label on it like bad or this is unbearable.
That seems a little counterintuitive, though, doesn't it? Like you're focusing on the pain instead of trying to make it go away.
Well, that's the interesting thing about mindfulness. It's
Yeah.
not about pretending the discomfort isn't real. You're not trying to ignore it. It's about changing how you relate to it. By simply observing those sensations without judgment, you create this space between you and the pain, even if it's just a little bit of space. And in that space, you realize, wait, this pain isn't me. It's just something I'm experiencing right now.
So it's like you create this healthy distance between yourself and what you're experiencing instead of getting totally swept up in it.
Exactly. And in that space, that ability to kind of detach and just observe, that's where you find your power. That's where you gain the freedom to choose how you want to respond, rather than just reacting out of fear or frustration,
Right.
on autopilot.
I see what you mean. That would be incredibly helpful. And not just for physical pain, but for emotional pain too, right? Like dealing with disappointment or loss, even anxiety.
Oh, absolutely. Those same principles, they apply across the board. Mindfulness can help you acknowledge and process those difficult emotions without letting them completely take over.
This is all making a lot of sense. Stoicism gives us the why, that philosophical foundation for facing challenges with resilience and grace, and mindfulness meditation gives us the how, like the actual tools for putting those Stoic principles into action.
Exactly. The source even says it straight up. Mindfulness meditation can be like a gym for your Stoic thinking.
A gym for your mind, I like it.
Right. It's a way to train our minds to respond to those tough situations with more awareness, more intention, rather than just reacting automatically without even thinking about it.
And that kind of training, that has the potential to impact every single area of our lives, don't you think?
Absolutely. And the source even gets into specifics. They talk about how mindfulness can help us with things like managing our desires, making more objective judgments, even acting more in line with our values.
So we're not just talking about feeling calmer when we meditate, we're talking about making choices that are in line with the kind of person we want to be out in the world.
That's it. It's about cultivating that inner citadel. That's actually what Marcus Aurelius called it.
An inner citadel, I like that.
Yeah, that place within ourselves of peace and stability that nothing outside of us can touch.
Such a powerful image, this inner sanctuary we can always access no matter what's going on around us. And it sounds like mindfulness meditation could be the way to unlock that.
I think it's definitely a powerful tool. And what's really interesting, this link between Stoicism and mindfulness, it's not just some new age theory. The source actually points out that even though the Stoics back in the day, they didn't have this term mindfulness meditation, they definitely understood how valuable mindfulness itself was.
So even back then, they were hip to the power of being present, of paying attention to what was happening in their inner world.
Exactly. And they knew it wasn't just for, monks or philosophers. It was a practical skill that anyone could learn to live a better life.
It's amazing, isn't it, how something as simple as paying attention to your breath or really noticing your thoughts can be such a game changer. But I do like that the source doesn't sugarcoat it. Mindfulness definitely takes effort.
Oh, for sure. It's not some magic solution.
Yeah.
And, that's actually another place where that Stoic connection really comes through. Both Stoicism and mindfulness, they're all about practice and discipline, showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it.
So it's less about achieving this perfect state of Zen and more about, I don't know, being okay with the messiness of actually doing the work.
Exactly. And remembering that even those meditation masters, They still have days where their mind won't stop racing, or they get totally caught up in their thoughts. The key is to approach the whole thing with a sense of humor and a lot of self-compassion.
And speaking of approaching things the right way, this part really resonated with me, listener, because the source talks about how important it is to be intentional about your mindfulness practice. They even suggest, trying out different meditation apps to find what works for you. They give a shout out to one called Stoa, which is built around Stoic teachings, but they're clear that the best app is, well, the one that actually gets you meditating.
That's such a good point,
Yeah.
because it's so easy to get caught up in the details,
Yeah.
and start feeling like you're doing it wrong. But that's the beauty of mindfulness. It's a practice. It's not a performance.
You said it.
There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just about showing up consistently and giving your full attention to this present moment.
And I love that they emphasize experimentation. It reminds me of something we were talking about earlier, that Stoic idea of amor fati.
Oh, I love that one.
That joyful acceptance of whatever life throws your way.
Yes. And remember, it's not about passively resigning yourself to fate. It's about embracing this moment right here, right now, with all its challenges, and finding the opportunity for growth within it.
So well said. And speaking of embracing the present moment, let's bring this back to you, listener. You requested this deep dive, so you're obviously intrigued by this stuff. Maybe you're already into Stoicism or meditation, or hey, maybe even both, and you just wanted to go deeper. Or maybe this is all brand new and you're looking for practical ways to deal with stress, build up that resilience, or maybe you just feel a little more in control of your thoughts and emotions.
Wherever you're at, I think the big takeaway here is that mindfulness meditation, it's not just some passing trend. The source makes a really strong case that it can be this incredibly powerful tool for anyone who wants to live a more intentional, fulfilling life.
And as we've been talking about, it pairs so well with those timeless Stoic principles. It's like having ancient wisdom and modern techniques all working together.
It's true. And when you combine them, they create this synergy that can honestly transform the way we experience the world.
And on that note, it looks like we've reached the end of our deep dive. We explored those surprising connections between mindfulness meditation and Stoic philosophy. We uncovered some really practical tools for dealing with life's inevitable challenges. And hopefully, we've given you some food for thought.
Keep diving deep, everyone. Keep exploring. And please, keep those thought-provoking requests coming. We love hearing from you.
And that wraps up today's episode. We hope you found some valuable insights on blending mindfulness with Stoic principles. Remember, it's all about developing that emotional intelligence and resilience as we navigate these challenging teen years. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Let's spread the word on how we can all grow together. Don't forget to drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you practice mindfulness in your life. Until next time, stay mindful and keep striving for that personal growth.